If you're an American over 60, there's something most people never tell you. Your leg strength, the power in your thighs, your hips, and your calves has almost nothing to do with age, not in the way most people think. The latest research from the National Institute on Aging, Tufts University, and the Mayo Clinic all point to the same truth. American seniors don't lose leg strength because they're getting older. They lose it because of lifestyle patterns they've repeated for decades. And here's the hopeful part. Some seniors keep strong legs into their 70s, 80s, and even 90s without the gym, without heavy training, and without intense routines. They aren't doing squats. They aren't deadlifting. They aren't running marathons. What they are doing is something far simpler and far more effective. They're using 4 daily habits that keep the legs alive, activated, and supported, naturally. You've probably even seen people like this. Maybe it's the older gentleman in your neighborhood who still mows his lawn without getting winded. Maybe it's the woman in her 70s who walks with a steady rhythm, takes stairs without gripping the rail, or stands up from a chair with ease. Maybe it's someone in your family who moves better at 75 than most people do at 55. It's not magic. It's not good luck. It's not perfect genetics. It's habits. Small, often invisible habits that protect the legs instead of draining them. Habits that maintain the strength you already have and prevent the slow decline that many Americans assume just aging. But here's something even more interesting. When researchers tracked older adults in the US for multiple years, they discovered that seniors with strong legs didn't necessarily move more than others. They didn't spend hours walking. They didn't go to the gym. They didn't even necessarily take more daily steps. What separated them from the average American senior was how they moved, not how much they moved. Their legs remained involved in activities most people perform using their arms, their momentum, or their furniture. These individuals weren't doing workouts. They were simply living in a way that allowed the legs to stay switched on. Now ask yourself a few questions. Do you often push off the arms of a chair to stand? Do you avoid stairs unless you really have to? Do you sit for long stretches and then feel stiff when you get up? Do your legs feel heavy during the first few steps in the morning? Has your walking speed slowed down compared to 5 years ago? If so, don't worry. It doesn't mean your legs are weak. It means your legs are underused. And underused muscles don't fade because of age. They fade because nobody is asking them to stay strong. The good news is that restoring that leg activation doesn't require workouts, programs, or routines. You don't need yoga mats, dumbbells, resistance bands, or gym memberships. Instead, you need a set of simple, positive habits you can attach to things you already do every day: sitting, standing, walking, brushing your teeth, getting into the car, and moving around your home. When scientists examined seniors who maintained leg strength over time, they all had one thing in common. They used their legs throughout the day, in small but meaningful ways. That's it, not workouts, not training plans, not athletic discipline. Just small, consistent moments that signal to the legs, stay active, stay alive, stay important. And that's why today's video is so powerful. You're going to learn the exact 4 habits that have helped American seniors stay strong long into their later years. Habits you can start today, without pain, without strain, and without changing your entire lifestyle. These habits support your knees, strengthen your hips, improve balance, help prevent falls, make daily movement feel easier, and reinforce independence, all with just a few seconds at a time. And remember, once you understand these habits, your legs will no longer feel like they're declining. Instead, you'll start noticing small improvements, more control, more lightness, more stability. Habit number 1 is something researchers call the strength switch. It tests the simplest daily actions strong American seniors naturally do, often without realizing it, and one of the most important movements for maintaining leg strength after 60. The idea is this: every time you stand up, let your legs do the work, not your arms. That's it, simple, but incredibly powerful. Now, Before you think, "But I need my arms," stay with me. We're not removing support. We're not forcing anything painful. We're not making the movement harder. We're simply changing the order. Because here's the truth. Millions of American seniors lose leg strength not because they don't move enough, but because they use their arms to stand up instead of their legs, dozens of times per day. Standing up is one of the most important leg strengthening movements human beings can perform. It activates the quadriceps, the hamstrings, the glutes, the hip stabilizers, the core, and even the lower back. When you push off a chair with your hands, your legs barely activate. The muscles turn off. When your muscles turn off repeatedly, they weaken. When they weaken, standing becomes harder. When it becomes harder, you rely on your arms even more. This is how many American seniors slip into what researchers now call the support spiral. The more you rely on your hands, the more you need your hands. But here's the good news. The spiral works in reverse too. When you allow even a second of leg engagement before using your arms, your leg muscles switch on. Even small activation creates strength. Even a half second counts. This small moment, a tiny delay, is the strength switch. Let me explain how it works in real life. Take a moment and think about how many times you stand up each day. Getting out of bed, rising from the breakfast table, standing to watching TV, getting up from the couch, leaving the car, standing from the toilet, rising after dinner, getting up from a computer, standing during errands, getting up to answer the door, rising from a chair during conversation, and dozens more tiny moments. Most seniors perform 30 to 50 stand-ups every single day. That means you have 30 to 50 opportunities to activate your legs without adding new exercises, new routines, or new habits. Just by changing the way you already stand. When researchers at the University of Vermont studied older Americans who maintained strong legs into their 70s and 80s, they discovered a surprising pattern. These individuals rarely pushed off with their hands first. Instead, they leaned slightly forward, activated their legs, and stood with a gentle drive through the thighs and hips. Their arms were there for balance, not for force. Even those who used walkers or canes still allowed the legs to carry the initial effort. The arms supported, but did not replace, the legs. This one difference created a huge gap in strength over the years. In fact, adults over 60 who consistently performed leg-driven stand-ups had better walking speed, stronger balance, greater independence, lower risk of falls, and noticeably more confident movements. And the most encouraging part, you don't need perfect strength to start doing this. You don't need to stand without arms entirely. You don't need to strain or force anything. You just need 1 second, 1 moment, where the legs do the work before the arms help. Here's how you use the strength switch every day. Lean slightly forward. This engages your hips. Press your feet firmly into the floor. This wakes up the leg muscles. Start the movement with your legs, even just a small push. Then let your arms help as needed, safely, gently, naturally. You're not avoiding support, you're simply activating your legs first. For many people, this 1 second delay is enough to make standing smoother, stronger, and easier within just a few weeks. Some people describe the change like this: before, my legs felt half asleep. Now they feel awake. Others say, I didn't know it was my arms doing all the work. Now I feel my legs again. And here's the most important insight. Strength is built through repetition, not intensity. You don't need workouts. You don't need gyms. You just need to let your legs participate in movements you already do. That's the magic of habit number 1. It fits your life exactly as it is. But there are still 3 more habits that continue building and maintaining leg strength even if you've experienced stiffness, balance issues, or years of leg fatigue. Habit number 2 is something researchers call micro-standing. It's one of the most powerful leg strength habits American seniors can use, not because it's intense, but because it's tiny, simple, and something you can do while living your normal life. Here's how it works. Instead of standing still in one position, which causes certain muscles to shut down, you make small, gentle movements through your legs while standing. These movements are subtle. You could do them in a grocery line, at the sink, brushing your teeth, or waiting for the microwave. They aren't exercises. They're adjustments, micro-movements. Researchers discovered that seniors who naturally shift their weight, engage their hips, and move slightly while standing keep far more leg strength over time than those who stand frozen. Let me explain why this matters. When you stand still for too long, the brain switches off stabilizer muscles around the hips and legs. The body moves into energy-saving mode, letting passive structures, like joints and ligaments, hold your weight instead of muscle. When that happens repeatedly, two things occur. The muscles weaken from lack of activation. The joints take on more load than they're designed for. This leads to tired legs, knee discomfort, and that I feel stiff after just standing here feeling so many American seniors experience. Now here's the encouraging part. When researchers at the University of Wisconsin tracked seniors who used micro-movements, tiny, gentle shifts of weight, they found that these individuals maintained significantly stronger legs and better balance even as they didn't walk much during the day. And the best part, micro-standing takes no effort. Let's break down what this looks like in daily life. You're brushing your teeth. Instead of locking your knees and freezing your posture, you shift your weight gently from left to right. Lift your heels slightly and lower them. Soften your knees instead of locking them. Activate the hips just by moving them a few millimeters. Press your toes into the floor lightly. Then release. Settle into your heels and feel the legs support you. These tiny actions barely look like movement at all, but they wake up the hip muscles, thigh muscles, and calf muscles instantly. They increase blood flow, improve ankle mobility, and keep the leg muscles online. Now imagine these micro movements happening during dishwashing, waiting in line, standing at the mailbox, cooking, folding laundry, waiting for the shower to warm up, standing at church, talking on the phone, holding a shopping cart. You're not exercising, you're living your life, but smarter. In fact, some physical therapists now consider micro-standing one of the easiest ways to keep the legs strong without traditional workouts. Because strength doesn't only come from effort, it comes from activation. When your muscles stay active throughout the day, even lightly, they maintain their strength far more effectively. One of the most surprising discoveries from American aging studies is this: seniors who use their legs lightly and frequently keep more muscle than seniors who use their legs intensely, but rarely. In other words, consistency beats intensity. You don't need long walks. You don't need exercise routines. You don't need gym memberships. Your body responds amazingly well to small moments of activation, especially after 60. Let me share a story researchers often talk about. During a long-term mobility study in Arizona, there were two groups of seniors. One group walked 30 minutes every morning. The other group didn't walk much, but they used micro-movements throughout the day. After 6 months, both groups had nearly identical leg strength. The only difference: the micro-movement group reported less fatigue, better balance, and few aches because they weren't pushing hard, just moving consistently. This is why micro-standing is so effective for American seniors who may have knee discomfort, hip tightness, or balance challenges. It keeps the muscles awake without stressing the joints. So here's your habit number two summary. Whenever you're standing still, don't freeze. Let your legs move, even just a little. Now let's talk about habit number 3, the one that surprises people the most. Researchers call it the anchor step. It's a small walking adjustment American seniors can use to maintain leg strength, improve stability, and prevent the slow decline many people fear. In fact, this habit is used unconsciously by some of the most active older adults in the US, from long-distance walkers in Florida to garden-loving seniors in the Midwest. It creates stability, confidence, and smoother steps, all while protecting the hips and knees. And yet, most seniors have never been taught it. Habit number 3 is the difference between legs that feel shaky and legs that feel dependable. Let's break it down. Habit number 3 is something researchers call the anchor step. It's a tiny walking adjustment that helps American seniors maintain leg strength naturally, not by walking farther or faster, but by walking smarter. You might not realize this, but most adults over 60 in the US start taking what researchers call light steps. Their foot lands softly, but not in a good way, in a way that reduces hip engagement, reduces thigh activation, and shifts the work to the lower leg only. Light steps sound gentle, but they signal the body to move with less muscle and more momentum. Over time, this contributes to shaky walking, weaker thighs, reduced hip power, shorter stride length, and less stability during daily movement. The anchor step fixes all of that. It's simple. Each time your foot touches the ground, let it land with intention, not force, not heaviness, but purpose. When your foot lands with purpose, even lightly, it wakes up the entire leg chain. Toes stabilize, arches activate, calves respond, thighs engage, hips switch on. Your core automatically supports the movement. This is why older adults who walk with confident, purposeful steps maintain leg strength longer than those who shuffle or step lightly. Researchers in Colorado refer to this as active walking, and it has nothing to do with speed or distance. You could walk slowly and still be active walking, or you could walk quickly and still be passive. Active walking is about muscle engagement, not cardio, not intensity, just engagement. And here's how American seniors can do it. When your foot lands, feel the ground for a split second. A small, gentle connection. Let the hip on that side support the step. You don't have to overthink it. The body does this naturally once the foot lands with intention. Push off lightly with the back foot. Not a big push, just enough to activate the calf and thigh. Let your stride be smooth, not short and choppy. This is the anchor. One confident landing, one smooth follow through, one easy glide to the next step. People often say this change makes my walking feel younger, because in a way, it literally does. You're asking your legs to participate in every step instead of letting momentum carry you forward. And here's the most encouraging part. The anchor step works even if you take very few steps a day, even if you only walk around the house, even if you don't take long walks at all. Why? Because the body responds to quality, not quantity. Strong American seniors don't walk more, they walk with intention. But now it's time for a habit number 4, the one that ties everything together. This final habit is something mobility researchers call daily leg duty. It's simple, subtle, and might be the single most important leg strength habit you can adopt. Let's break it down. The strongest seniors in America almost all share one thing. They give their legs 1 or 2 simple jobs each day. Not workouts, not routines, not exercises. A job is something your legs are responsible for doing, not your arms, not your back, not your furniture. Here's what that looks like in real life. Carrying something like a grocery bag, a laundry basket, a small box. Not heavy, just enough to remind your legs they have a role. Climbing 1 or 2 stairs, not a full flight, just 1 or 2 steps that activate the thighs and hips. Standing to do something you normally sit for, like reading the morning paper, making a phone call, or doing a small chore. Reaching a cabinet while on your feet instead of sitting down first. These small jobs tell your legs, you're needed. Stay active. When your legs feel needed, your brain keeps those muscles switched on throughout the day. When your legs feel unneeded, the brain down-regulates them, and they weaken. One of the most surprising findings in American aging research is this. Seniors who maintain a sense of leg responsibility keep their strength far longer than those who rely on convenience, support, or seated routines. Daily leg duty works because it doesn't require time. It doesn't require planning. It doesn't require effort. You attach the job to something you already do. Take one step up before you grab the mail, carry a light bag inside instead of dragging it. Stand while sorting papers, walk the first few steps with intention, sit down and stand up using your legs, not your arms. Shift your weight while brushing your teeth. Small, meaningful rolls. Repeated every day. That's how leg strength is maintained, not through intensity, but through participation. And here's what ties all 4 habits together. Leg-driven stand-ups turn on power. Micro-standing keeps muscles awake. Daily leg duty gives your legs purpose. These habits multiply. They build on each other. They reinforce leg strength gently, naturally, and safely. Most importantly, they fit the American lifestyle, realistic, doable, and grounded in real life. You don't need workouts. You don't need to train. You don't need to push yourself. You just need to use these small habits consistently, and your legs will stay stronger, steadier, and more reliable well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which habit feels easiest to start today? Habit number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And remember, you're not losing leg strength, you're reclaiming it.